Hey guys, it is Esti and Justin from Not For Long Media.
If you like the video you're about to watch, be sure to like the video itself and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it.
Enjoy the video and also don't forget to follow us on our socials at Not For Long Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Tom, so, Ben Simmons is obviously the talk of the NBA right now. I mean, so much of his situation is just unknown. Like, I was looking at what Doc Rivers was saying this week, and he was asked about, like, is the Ben Simmons trade request still active? He said he didn't know. And then, after they lost to the Hawks and Ben Simmons famously missed that dunk, somebody asked him, could he be a point guard for a championship team? Doc said, I don't know. Why do you think that so much of Ben Simmons' future in Philadelphia is up in the air?
Well, I mean, he told them they lost Game 7 on June 20th at the Wells Fargo Center to the Hawks. And then the Chicago pre-draft camp was the 21st to the 27th. And during that camp was when Rich Paul told the Sixers for the first time, Ben wants to be traded. Now it didn't become public knowledge until the end of August when Keith Pompey from the Inquirer, who's a good friend of mine and a really hard worker and not as good a guy as you could be, who went to Pitt. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Mike Carey.
Yeah, really, that's true. All right. Yeah, that's true. Mike. Yeah. Mike and Louis Riddick, et cetera. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. So they had a 2-month window to try to trade him, but apparently Morey was asking for too much. Keith broke the story at the end of August that they had asked, to be traded. And at that point, you're hoping to get 50 cents on the dollar, and Morey wasn't getting what he hoped he could get. Maybe he was asking too much. I would love to know what the best offer was before that thing happened, before it became public knowledge at the end of August. So if you're not going to make a trade for, that you don't think is going to make your team better or keep your team the same, you hold on to him, which is what the Sixers are doing. And I guess they kind of called his bluff. And when he realized he was going to lose this money, they never criticized him. Brett Brown never did. Brett Brown coached his dad, Dave Simmons, in Australia. But Doc Rivers, I thought, would come in and would, be tough. And maybe Sam Cassell, the assistant coach, was, but Doc would not say a single word criticizing him until Game 5 of the Atlanta series. And then, as you said, Justin, Game 7, I think he was just so stunned they lost when David Murphy from the Inquirer Daily News said, do you think you can win with him going forward? And he said, I don't know about that. Now, he's denied saying that, which is funny. Like, Scott Van Pelt ran his quote from me on SportsCenter. Like, he answered it. He said he avoided the question and he wouldn't get into it. And he said it was the first question. It was the 5th question. And he said exactly what Justin and I said. So I don't know if he's trying to change, be a Larry Brown revisionist historian or what. But Ben Simmons and Rich Paul know what he says. He said everybody knows what he said. So it's a big giant mess. And, people here are thinking, all right, he's back, he's going to play. I think it's less than 50-50 that he plays a game for the Sixers again. I think it's more likely that he's here, he can get his money, and it increases the chances that he's traded, which is what he wants anyway.
You're right. The holdout situation was what I found so fascinating about this, because normally when guys hold out, it's usually a star player on a bad team that wants to get traded. But then Ben Simmons is not the best player on the Sixers. And I thought did you think it was a little presumptuous of Ben Simmons to assume that, okay, well, if I hold out and do this whole ordeal and get Rich Paul involved, that, I can just go anywhere I want.
Well, yes, definitely, Justin. But the other thing is he's 1 year into a 5-year, $190 million contract. So he's got 4 years and over $150 million left. And I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I would not be surprised if Adam Silver and the NBA had gotten involved here, because that's a bad look when a guy that has that long and that much money and is a star player and he's holding out, for what reason? That's a bad example. The other guys in the same situation. It's one thing if you're in the last year of a contract, they're not going to extend you. They won't trade you. You can kind of make a case in a situation like that. But yeah, and they were putting stuff out like he doesn't want to play on a team where it's built around Joel Embiid. And I thought Embiid came out a couple weeks ago and said, look, this team is not built around me. It's built around Ben. All we have are shooters. He said, we got rid of Jimmy Butler, which I think was a mistake, which is a direct quote, because Ben had to have the ball in his hands. And when Jimmy Butler was on the court at the end of the game, Jimmy Butler had the ball in his hands, and it was all Jimmy Butler and Embiid. And Simmons stood in the corner and they basically played 4-on-5 in the half court offense. So, and he's right. They did a lot of things to try to appease him. Their whole look at Seth Curry, Danny Green, these shooters. That's because of Ben Simmons. I mean, it helps Joel Embiid too. Don't get me wrong, but you have to surround him with shooters. You can play him last year with like Dwight Howard because neither guy will shoot. You can't play 3-on-5 in the NBA. So if he's traded and they have more of a normal lineup, they can mix and match better. Obviously, defensively is the area where they'll miss the most because he guarded the other team's best 1 through 4, and was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, it's really kind of amazing. I mean, I just think he's surrounded by yes men, and no one ever criticizes him. And the fact that, and then Embiid, if you remember after Game 7, said what was the turning point? Said the turning point is when we passed up the dunk, and Thibault was fouled and made 1 of 2 free throws. There was Sixers were down 2 with 3.5 minutes to go. Thibault made 1. Simmons had a dunk with Trae Young, who's 6'1", 9 inches shorter, stepping toward him. He just literally had to drop the ball through the basket and he passed it out. So I don't think Simmons is used to being criticized publicly, and he was by the coach and the best player on the team. And I think that was enough where he said, rather than say, I can't shoot 33% from the line in the series, and I can't. He did not take a shot in games 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the fourth quarter. Did not take a shot. Forget making a shot. He didn't take a shot. That can't happen. That's impossible.